Top of the morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anand, editor, Dynamic Manufacturing India magazine, and this is day three of Industry Samurai Conference and Awards. This is a panel focused on the subject of software solutions for manufacturing, for competitive edge in manufacturing. Let me introduce the subject very quickly with you, following which I'll introduce our distinguished speakers who we are fortunate to have on the panel today. As the subject is software solutions for competitive edge in manufacturing, I looked around for the best explanation that we have from people in the industry about what software solutions are available for manufacturing companies. And one of the best explanations of it was given by one Mr. Gabriel Georgiou, a Canada-based research principal at G2.com, an online software of marketplace. Gabriel wrote that the typical IT ecosystem of a large manufacturing company is reminiscent of the term spaghetti software. It comes from the term spaghetti code that programmers often use. Now, the spaghetti type of IT ecosystem consists of multiple systems. Let me show you what it looks like in terms of an infographic on my screen. Yes. So this is what it looks like. This type of ecosystem consists of multiple systems that are more or less integrated with the central ERP, but are built on various technologies and databases, and sometimes include several versions of the same software. Now, Gabriel also wrote about the different types of other software ecosystems, like the ravioli ecosystem. Ravioli is an Italian dish which is akin to Indian samosa. For example, ravioli is filled with cheese. Now, this refers to code or an IT ecosystem that makes sense in isolation, but is difficult to understand as a whole. Manufacturers tend to use a lot of this type of ecosystem in various forms as different suites, different customized tools or apps. So while buying them, these types of software solutions make sense at the time for each function, for each team or department, but no one really knows how they work together. Then he also spoke about the lasagna code, where the software layers are so closely intermeshed and intertwined that any change to one layer will impact the others. So these are the three major types of typical IT software ecosystem that manufacturers have. So in terms of the choice of the right software solution for manufacturing, there are scores of ERP packages and specialized suites of solutions for manufacturers available today, such as Autodesk Fusion 360 and Inventor, Sage 500 and X3, and Microsoft Dynamics NAV or AX. Every manufacturer, however, has their own learning curve that typically starts with Microsoft Office and moves into more specialized software as the processes become more specialized. Now, today's subject of software solutions for competitive edge in manufacturing will be discussed by a panel comprising industry thought leaders, including Mr. Arjun Bajaj, Director Videotex, Mr. Devendra Gupta, Business Head, Indo Autotech Limited, and Mr. Vipul Agrawal, Technical Specialist, Fusion 360. Let me introduce our speakers to you. Mr. Arjun Bajaj is currently the Director of Videotex International, the position he took over in 2015. In the year 2016, Arjun launched Diver, the in-house brand of LED televisions and smart LED televisions. After achieving his degree of BSc in Business Management from University of Essex, Arjun took over his position as the Director in Videotex International, a company established in 1984. The company today is one of the most prestigious and the largest ODMs of LED television in India, manufacturing and providing solutions to numerous renowned brands in the domestic market. At such a young age, Arjun launched Diver, a premier brand of LED televisions and smart LED televisions with a vision to offer high-end luxury products at affordable prices. Arjun's drive for success led to the diversification of the company's activities and further enhanced the FY growth by 100%. With Daiwa now being available at almost every e-commerce platform, Arjun's aim for the sun never to set on the brands stands close to realization. Daiwa works on the undeterred goal to provide customer satisfaction with innovation as its nerve center. We have Mr. Devendra Gupta, business head Indo Autotech Limited. Mr. Gupta has 25 years plus years, more than 25 years of industry experience. He has worked with Hero Corporation for 20 plus years and worked in various departments like R&D, SQA, and vendor development, etc. He is currently associated with Indo Autotech Limited as its business head and the driving force of Industry 4.0 at the group level. We have Mr. Vipul Agrawal, technical specialist, Fusion 360, Autodesk. Mr. Agrawal has been working in the manufacturing software industry for the last 8 years. His experience with software lies in all the three domains, including CAD, CAM, and CAE across different verticals, industries like medical, automotive, aerospace, oil and gas, etc. With Fusion 360, he entered the world of complete product development cycle and got to explore the collaborative CAD CAM CAE domain. He has a master's degree in manufacturing technology from IIT Bombay and a mechanical engineering bachelor's degree. A huge and a warm welcome to all the speakers from Dynamic Manufacturing India and the manufacturing sector. I pass on the baton to Vipul, who will give a 15-minute presentation, and the discussion will follow his presentation. Over to you, Vipul.
Thank you, Anand. So everybody can see my screen?
Yeah.
I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you, Anand, and thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to talk in this seminar. And the topic which we will be going to cover, as Anand told, is software solutions for competitive edge in manufacturing. And a very good analogy that Anand used about the spaghetti software system which the industries have, or the ravioli software system which the industries have. I will also show the same kind of image which shows you a complete product development cycle right now in the industries. You can see it's very messy and complicated. There has been several softwares getting used in each of the department, and there are like very complex problems like not finding the exact version of the file, or even the data losses from one department to another because the file is getting converted so many times, or even that you cannot process something because you just do not have one feature enabled in your software right now. And that is the problems which are being faced by the industries, but they don't think that this are actually taking up time from them. But for your knowledge, approximately and 30% of an engineer's time is getting wasted in such type of mundane tasks. But what if I told you that the solution is very easy? It's like getting a software which actually integrates all your departments. So whether it be CAD modeling or your design department, which does the CAD modeling day to day, or the manufacturing department in which you do the CAM programming, or even your ECAD, right? You can make a PCB design or manufacture a PCB within the same software. When you get this kind of power, what else you can do is you can use the software to actually innovate rather than repeating or reiterating the task which you are doing day to day. I guess we all have came to a situation where you are unable to find a file, or the name of the file which you are searching for does not exist, right? So instead of wasting the time there, what you can do is with the design which you have, you can use it and try to get alternatives out of it, right? So this kind of innovative things can be done. And the third one is to connect with every stakeholder in the complete process. So whether it be your internal departments, whether it be your suppliers, or even your customers, right? So one software which actually can do everything, and that software from Autodesk side is Autodesk Fusion 360. So if you ask me, is Autodesk Fusion 360 a CAD software? Is Autodesk Fusion 360 a CAM software or a CAE software or a PCB design software? I'll say no, because it's not just one of these, but it's all of these. It's a combined software having all of these features, right? So let's look one by one what all feature sets we have in terms of which can be used for each and every department, right? So we'll cover around 4 different departments in here, where you can start with the product definition, the engineering, the production engineering, and the shop floor. So there is one complete solution for all of these engineers in each of their individual departments. To start with, let's consider the design and engineering department. So whether you want to make a parametric solid modeling, surface modeling, or sheet metal modeling, or even freeform modeling for some aesthetic surface on your product, it can be done very easily with Fusion 360. Even you want to re-engineer or reverse engineer some product from the market, you can consider the mesh environment, which can actually help you out in repairing surfaces and actually recreating the bodies, or even creating clubbing these bodies into the actual design which you have. Once you have done with the designs, if you are willing to innovate on these designs, you can just give the specific design requirements within Fusion 360, identify the constraints, alternate materials which you are looking for, and even manufacturing options. Once you do all these things and go for a cloud solve, you get hundreds of outcomes out of this, which can be used as an alternative to your original design. This is where you get the innovative thing out of your company. So let's say if I have 100 alternatives already tried and tested with everything, then it's you know that you are at a very optimum level, right? And then you can again go with the same process after once this things has been done. Once your design has been finalized, now let's come to the manufacturing environment, manufacturing department. So in Fusion 360, there are it supports for your all kinds of milling machines, all kinds of turning and mill turn machines, which covers all your subtractive processes. If you are into sheet metal and want to make tool parts for your water jet laser or plasma machines, you can do that, or even the latest additive manufacturing. So we do support metal and plastic additive manufacturing as well. So you can create tool parts, you can try out different tool parts and compare the cycle times and take your decisions very aggressively. And once all these things are done, if you want to inspect your part with an on-machine probing, that all things can also be done within Fusion 360. Now coming to the combination, since Fusion 360 is an integrated platform for CAD and CAM, you can also model to manufacture. By telling model to manufacture, what I mean to say is if you want to create a patch surface or in the model so that you can get good tool paths and save some of your cycle time. If you want to create some features for which will be useful for doing your manufacturing activities quickly, you can do that as well. Or otherwise, you can create a complete replica of your machines inside Fusion 360 so that you can see whatever is going to happen in your machine in the software as well. These all things can be achieved by using the integrated CAD and CAM. Also, with with the integrated design to manufacturing, you can do all the processes in a very fast manner. All the data sets, all the design history gets stored in one file. And through that, you can bring all these things into the manufacturing environment. Along with this, it's the collaborative function which collaborates with the collaborative function, you can collaborate with the design department and then get all the data, whatever is needed for your processes, right? Even Fusion 360 uses multi-threading options, so you can use your complete PC power and you don't have to wait hours and hours to generate just a tool path or some process to be done. Once the process has been set, you can move to another process and Fusion will take care of all the other backend things which are pending one by one, right? And then these all things is flexible enough. The software is flexible enough so you can add or remove licenses or even take multiple licenses or assign any licenses to any of the departments, so that you can actually increase your productivity of your performance and reduce the errors in the machine, right? Once the manufacturing things are done, if you need some advanced manufacturing options, there is a machining extension. So with this machining extension and a flex access added to it, if you get a job which is very rare and you just need one feature, you can just activate it within minutes, so that you can use the feature, and then after a day or a month, that feature gets inactivated and you are no longer paying for that feature. We have also seen in the industry that whichever software you buy, it has got hundreds of features, but you only use 10 or 20% or maximum of 50% of it. But you are still paying for that 100% completely. With Fusion 360's Flex Access, this is not the case. You only pay for whatever features you are using. Another extension, if you are into sheet metal industry, or uh, if you are working with fabrication, then you can have the nesting extension activated and you can nest your parts. And if you are, again, it's an flex access, so if you don't want the nesting extension for a full year, you can just buy it for a day or for a month and paying it just for the time that you use. For additive users, we have the same in an additive build extension, where you can actually orient your parts automatically. Part orientation is one of the feature which we have. You can add additive supports, you can add the infill of additive and see the simulation inside Fusion. With this, you have an option in the software to actually use multiple orientations and see which will be the best to for your printing. And once you are done with it, you can export it in any of the formats which your machine reads, and then carry on with the physical additive manufacturing. To to get a confirmation that yes, my part after finishing will be according to the requirements I have, we have an additive simulation as well. So you can identify the wrapping before manufacturing of the part, right? And then you can export it again into whatever file format you want and go for it. You can see an image of how the simulation will look. The red areas will actually show you where there will be a warping, and the blue areas will are the ones which actually shows you that, okay, everything is gonna fine. All these things, and at the back end, Fusion 360 is automatically doing your data management. So we have a basic PDM solution integrated to it, where all your files are getting stored in versions. So so the finding of the files becomes very easy. Every one of us have always done uh, the file naming as XYZ version 1, XYZ version 2, and then we go with XYZ version 1 final, XYZ version 2 final. And then when you, after a month or a few months, when you come back, this becomes very hectic to find out which one was the latest one or which one was the one which we used. But with this automated data management at the backend, with each version, you can actually add your inputs, and even you can give the other departments access to whichever file they want to use, or you want them to use. This all things also happen on cloud. So you have an access to actually share your data along with your suppliers or your customers beforehand, just for them to check it. We even have a commenting and redlining option, so that you can cater to your mistakes very actively. Imagine that I am sitting in Pune right now and Mr. Anand sitting in Bangalore. He wants to tell me about some design that we need correction in here. He can just open Fusion 360 in his PC or a mobile app, comment it, redline it, and then send it to me, and I can get it verified at my end, or even at the supplier end, who might be sitting maybe in Aurangabad or Delhi or anywhere in the world. With all these things, if you want advanced approval design changes system, we have a manage extension for them. You can release which versions of the file you are releasing to manufacturing. You can define a workflow in which who is the approval and why did they approve, and maintain the workflow state diagram, create engineering orders. All the basic PLM, PDM techniques can be assigned here. And finally, when everything is done, we have a documentation workspace where you can create the 2D drawings for your documentation. This all things in a collaborative manner, in a cloud collaborative manner. So you can see in this picture how a firewall can be protected, the data can be protected inside a firewall with Fusion 360 inside your company, but also with the same data, you can share it with your customers, suppliers, and design subcontractors. This will be very flexible. It, it depends on what access you give. It's totally dependent upon you on how you want to give access to it. But this can be a very useful option so that everyone in the chain remains updated with what is the latest file or what is the latest version of the design which you are using, right? And this is the solution which we have. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you want to see how Fusion 360 works or want an experience of it, you can just scan this QR code and it will take you to to a website where you can actually download a trial or get connected with us for any further solutions. So this is all from my side on the presentation. If we have any question and answers.
So
Thank
right
you
now,
so much. Yes, sorry. Yes,
yeah,
Mr. Gupta, please.
what Mr. Vipul you have shown, it's more of the design part which we have shown and how we can do the collaboration on the design. But how about, because if we are going to develop some process, then it's going to take a long lead time. It's like a complete development process. So how your software is going to take care of that PLM part and the PDM part?
So there are two things to it. If you are going into the development process, you can standardize the process in Fusion 360 with the manage extension. And that standard process will be followed in whichever design you are making newly for the product development.
So you want to say that we can develop that standard process inside the or Fusion 360 on our own?
Yes. And also then the other aspect which we have is for a faster product development, if you give the inputs to the software, the correct constraints and what materials you want to use and what manufacturing output you want, then actually the software will give you alternatives on your design. So that can be again verified and taken out as a design and used in your assemblies or wherever you want to.
And how about its collaboration with the other design softwares like CATIA or UG or SolidWorks and Solid Edge?
Yes.
The data is available. Yeah.
Yes. So the data module with Fusion 360 actually imports all kind of data. So you don't need to care about where the data is coming from or which format it is. It reads the native files of other software as well as the general files. And also we have something which is called direct editing. So once the data is inside Fusion 360, if you want to edit something, let's say if you want to increase the size of the hole, or if you want to change the complete chamfer size of the part, wherever there are chamfers, that you can do directly within Fusion 360. That is called direct modeling.
And if it is getting like edited in the Fusion 360, then the document is going to be saved in the Fusion 360 format, or it's going to be saved in the original version of the software like ProE or the UG or CATIA?
It will be stored in Fusion 360's format.
But where will it be updated in the another software also?
No, that
So
is because,
yeah, please.
Yes, that is because each of the software companies have their own proprietary formats which they use, and it's the formats which they have is actually which they own. So you cannot write or you cannot change their algorithms. It's same with us. It's same with everyone in the industry.
And what about the data being transferred from Fusion 360 to other softwares?
It's the same. The other softwares also read Fusion 360's data, or otherwise there are general file formats in the CAD environment. Fusion 360 can export that and they can read it there.
Right. Fine. Yeah, Mr. Anand, please continue.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Arjun, you have any questions on this?
I think my questions will pop up once we start interacting. I think I can link it better with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sounds good. So I'll start with my first question for this panel. And I'll start with Mr. Gupta, him having seen the world of manufacturing in its different aspects, and him being part of one of the largest suppliers of engineering solutions to automotive companies currently. Now, Mr. Gupta, see, our reader base comprises machine tool builders, metal workers, and the whole spectrum of manufacturing companies and professionals, right from a small unit of, let's say, 10 people producing a mechanical solution, engineering solution, or a machine part or a component, to the highest end of the spectrum, where we have precision engineering companies producing for global aerospace brands. Now it's very hard to pinpoint what is the kind of software solution being used by people in such a huge universe. But for our readers today, we need to get some idea of what is the journey of a typical manufacturer in the Indian environment when they start from scratch and go up the evolutionary curve. And how do they start being introduced to the right software solutions? Because in my interactions with people, a lot of people say that a large part of the industry is still in the phase where they're using spreadsheets, for example, for most of their functions. They're not aware of a lot of software solutions that are out there. So can you chart for us the map of how the journey of a typical manufacturer in terms of their using software solution?
Right now, if I talk about the manufacturing environment, there are, if we divide the industry, it is getting divided into 4 to 5 type of industry. There is an industry, either it's a small or the big one, who are designing their products and manufacturing it. And there are the industries who are just providing the services to the bigger industries, like the tier 2 or tier 3 suppliers, right? If we talk about these are the two different aspects. If I talk about the industries who are designing their own products and manufacturing their own products, or rather we can say they are supplying the product directly to the consumers, then that kind of industry needs to have the CAD type of system or the softwares available with them, because they need it more. Right now, they are designing, either they are doing the copying the product from the other industries and then developing it on their own, or they are just using the manual systems of measurements and other things if the industry is small. So these are the industries which needs a CAD and CAM software. And rather, I will add to it that instead of only CAD and CAM, they need to have the reverse engineering softwares also. Along with that reverse engineering, they must have the system to develop the reverse engineering. They can scan the component, or they can get it scanned. Then they get the data transferred to their own system. Then they do their own re-engineering or designing. And after that, they can go with the, using the CAM software or CAE to redesign their products and the processes, and they can start working. So it's like for those kind of industry, it's this way of working. Or even we can say the OEMs, rather all the OEMs, either they are supplying to the direct consumers or to whoever they are doing, because they are actually doing the designing work. And there is an industry which is like they are getting the designs from the OEMs and they are providing the service to the OEM. The industry can be a small or the bigger one, like the tier 1 companies, like what we are working for, or the tier 2 companies where we are getting the supplies from the suppliers. For in this kind of industry, the designing is more of a drafting. because what the design they are getting it is from the OEMs, then they are mostly working on those designs. So in those cases, they need to have the design software because they have to manufacture their tools, jigs, or we can say the molds or the dies or the machining cycle. But that is more of a service providers when they have more of the design data and they used to develop the process only. So they in that case, the CAM or the CAE is going to give us the more advantage. And the industry, which is even further below these industries, is that the people who are again providing the service to the tier 1 service industry. In that case, to afford for them, these kind of software is very difficult. Because right now, all the software which are coming in the market are having the annual subscription charges. First, the upfront charges, then the integration charges, and the third challenge which they are facing is the annual subscription or the maintenance charges. And apart from that, they need to have the good server also. So it's become very difficult for them to manage those software. If I talk about the tier 2 company. So right now the challenge with that industry, they need these softwares, but the cost or the maintenance is so high for them to afford that. So that is a gap which is getting created, and tier 2 level is unable to come up with that. Tier 1, like the companies which are directly supplying to OEMs, they are good enough to buy the software and utilize it. But the challenge again for them comes out is that they are not aware of these softwares. And if they get the awareness, then definitely they will start working on that because they can afford it and they can go for it. And the only challenge they also face is that one is the awareness is not available. Second, they go with the software. Like if someone is going with the Fusion 360, then he is not thinking that how is it's going to be linked with the another design software, or if they have the ERP module like SAP or anything else, then how it is going to link these two software. So this kind of environment is there right now in the industry.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta, for that illuminating view. That really helps. Arjun, what has been your experience, and can you also give us a comparative picture since you've studied in the UK and you've joined your company 8 years ago? You may have sort of a comparison. In my experience, and when I talk to people, I see that this is a situation worldwide. In the US also, a lot of companies use spreadsheets, for example, and it's only a later stage of evolution that they turn to more sophisticated software. Obviously, CAD, CAM, these things are essential for setting out certain types of industries. But overall, what is your experience of what types of software solutions are used at different evolutionary stages in India vis-a-vis the world?
Well, talking about from the manufacturing perspective, like when I joined my company, we didn't have much softwares installed here. So like you typically said, we were working on spreadsheets, or typical working on registers and all these places, which was not something that was suitable, I would say, for a manufacturing company. And this is not just, one of the industries that we were in. Majority of the industries and majority of the companies, whether you call them tier 2, in fact, even some of the major big industries were also working like this. I think it's like only, I would say 8-9 years since softwares have started taking up places and manufacturers have started using them properly or are becoming aware of them. So we typically started in 2017 we started with an ERP because we were having a lot of challenges. Like you said, there was a awareness issue, there was I would say a budget constraint, not really a budget constraint, but more of an awareness issue, like Mr. Devendra mentioned. So we started with an ERP so that we can have all the departments interlinked. So right from placing POs to inventory management to billing to manufacturing, everything happened there because all the departments were then linked. And accounting for which material is where, what's coming in, what's going out, from complete the quality control from the production, then the billing happening, then the dispatch happening, serial number monitoring, and providing that data to the customer. So since we are typically an ODM and OEM, we have to provide all the data to our customers when it comes to manufacturing. What's the batch number, what's the production date, what PCB is going in the TV, which speaker is going in the TV, how they are linked. So every department had to be interlinked. So we decided to get ERP on board. But like we said, it's a never-ending process. Now I'm coming back to Vipul's software, where he said, there are hundreds of things that are there in a software, but you don't know. You might be utilizing only 10 or 20. So once you start getting into those things, so you're using the 10 things, then you start using those 20, but those 80 things which you were unaware of, those become your need. And our ERP system is not an annual based thing, but you purchase license, but then again, you have to pay more for every development, even for a small development. So that takes a lot of time, and that involves a lot of budget also going in softwares. So say, for example, today I'm saying this is a new requirement. Okay. So if I go to my ERP people, they'll say, okay, we can do this for you. Despite that having there, they will still say, okay, we need to charge you this much. So that becomes a big problem. And that's not a problem with just our company. That's a problem with multiple other companies that we speak to or we deal with on day-to-day basis. So I think, but more or less, ERP for us has been very helpful, be it, inventory management, be it production, be it, accounting, dispatch, everything, even quality, everything has been good. Just 2 years back, we also implemented MES so that we can manage our production much better. As we were getting many international brands on board, and it was important for us. So we installed MES. So right from, like if I'm sitting here today, I'm in Ludhiana, or, if I was traveling overseas a few weeks ago, I was seeing everything. I could see what production is happening, which brand is getting manufactured today, what's the model, what's the production tomorrow, what's the TAT time going on right now, what's the defect percent. Everything could be monitored. So I think with softwares, and with the COVID-19 situation, a lot of things had to be, worked on remotely. So with these softwares, I think that has really happened. That's possible today. So to manage everything, to control everything, and and if any company that is still using spreadsheets or register, I think it's time for them to really upgrade themselves. Or in the coming years, I don't think they will be able to survive against the other companies who are growing themselves, who are becoming aware, who are willing to implement such softwares in the company. Whether it's an added cost, I think it's a must, and I think it's an investment that can help you get a much greater return from in the coming years. So yeah, I think software should be installed in every company, and like we said, it's not a typical software that you can just get, anyone can just sell to you. Every manufacturer has a different requirement. I have different requirement. So if I have a software that's built for me, because we believe in customizing softwares for our needs. So if I have something that's made for me, okay, that same software might go to another company in a similar, that's doing a similar business with me, but he will have his own things to put in. So I think that kind of things will keep coming, and you should always ensure that the softwares are basis your need. And even if you have to pay a bit extra, I think it's still worth every penny.
Thanks, Arjun, for that insightful thought. Vipul, what's your take?
Yes, so my thoughts actually are similar to Devendra and Arjun. I'll start with what Devendra said. Like, yes, it's the softwares are. If you consider the industry, yes, it has an, I guess, 200 or 300 years old industry, and there at that time there were no softwares. So it's not like that industries cannot work with the softwares, or they need a very high-end just a high-end software to work with. It more or less deals with how you want your productivity to be. So if you are working with Excel sheets or any other very basic things, yes, you can work. It's not a problem. If you are working with very high-end softwares, which you have invested lakhs of rupees, yes, The difference lies here is more on the productivity side. The person who is at the lower end and who is at the higher end will give a very big productivity difference. And that is where what Mr. Devendra said, that yes, this is where the difference in adaptability also comes in. So if, let's say, if I open a company right now, I would obviously choose to be a very low cost setup unless and until I get to a level of maturity. And that is where all the Excel sheets and everything comes in. But yes, the sooner I adopt softwares, the productivity level increases a lot. So it's the industry. People have to understand, if they want to grow, as Arjun said, they will have to invest in softwares, and those are the things which actually will increase your productivity, finally increasing your overall output and your revenue on the business. And that is the way to grow actually.
Thanks, Vipul. I'll add a quick follow-up question, taking threads from Mr. Gupta's thoughts and Arjun's thought. It is about the customization part. It is about the whole package requirement and the package transaction part, where manufacturers, particularly in India, and that's absolutely a valid, legitimate concern, where you have this huge labor arbitrage, uh, capital versus labor situation, where you can get a lot of things done with people that you would rather do with software in any other part of the world. So over here, for Indian manufacturers, for their genuine requirements, do we have India focused software solutions which takes into view what the manufacturers in India want? So, for example, if they want a particular solution, but then there are other layers of features that are added onto it, and they have no option but to buy or pay subscription. Even the types of buy-ins, whether it is annual, and I personally see this a lot. For example, you have to either buy an annual subscription or 6 monthly subscription. There are no test packages where you can try it for a while, for instance. So I'm talking about the overall gamut of solutions suited to the need of Indian manufacturer. Is there something that you guys are doing in that direction?
Yes, actually. So this would be a perfect question for us, because Autodesk has been working on this specific requirement for a while now. And that is where we were one of the first companies to introduce a subscription package. So instead of paying, the first thing which we did was introduction of a subscription package. So instead of paying for a software which you own, it's more of a subscription where you go ahead and pay for it every year. So this actually is reducing the entry cost for all the manufacturers and designers. Let's say if you are paying amount of rupees for the complete software that you need to pay some like 20% every year. What we have done is we have reduced it by X by maybe 5 or 6, and we are going in on the subscription scale. The second thing which has been done is on the flexibility. As I already told you, there are the software capabilities where you have to buy 100% of the software and merely use 20%. So we have divided now into categories, like, okay, this is the base thing which is there, and this is all which can be added. Now, even this additional extensions or features which are there, that can be just bought for a day, a month, or even for an year. So that totally depends on you. This flexibility also adds on the thing that, let's say if a manufacturer gets some complicated manufacturing part, which he knows he can do, but he's not able to do in the current scenario because his software doesn't support it. But he doesn't want to invest heavily on just buying the complete software for this one part job, right? So what he can do is activate it for one day. It just activates in just a click, how we do it in an app or on a website. You can use it, and the next day it will be unsubscribed, and your work is done. You are giving the manufacturer a capability to enter into a newer domain. to enter into a newer market by just investing a very small cost. And to answer your third question on this is, with Fusion 360, we have actually done the trial version of it, and it's open. So what you can do is the QR code I showed you, or you can just go to the Fusion 360 website and download a trial for a month. And even once you download the trial, if you want, one of our representative can connect with you, show you the exact places, train you for an hour, and give you the details of how this can be worked in your industry. You can try it out and then only go ahead with the decision of purchasing. So these are the exact features, I guess, what you were looking for, which is going to benefit the industry.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vipul. Mr. Gupta, now we come to the second question, which is about the key considerations behind choosing any particular type of software solution. Now, in your experience, as we are well aware, India has these unique advantages of low cost labor. Some people say that the overall cost of labor comes to be quite high when you see from an overall picture view. But still, India has this advantage of skills and labor that comes at a lower cost, and choosing a software solution from that context becomes a bigger decision. When we are talking about with our counterparts from Europe and the US, choosing a software is like a second nature to them. But for us, there are other considerations that come into play. For example, the skill upgradation of our people, the kind of budget that will go into doing that, whether we are choosing a software just because it's in vogue or whether it is actually needed and giving us an ROI on that. So what are the typical considerations that a user has in an Indian manufacturing company such as yours in choosing a software solution?
For us, right now, the basic need what we feel is that we need to have the software so that the data is centralized. That is the one main consideration we have. We do not want the people to keep the data on their laptops or the desktops. And once we need that data, we have to, follow up with them. We need to have all the data and information centralized and which can be accessed by anyone who needs it, provided they are provided the accessibility to it. So that is the main consideration from the data point of view. And if I talk about the softwares, yes, software, we are dependent on the people. Either they are in low cost as compared to the software today. But if I see down the line 2 years or 3 years afterwards, the same person may not be available. So you are dependent on that person and he can always blackmail you and he can, be a threat to your company rather than to an advantage of having that person. So we need to have the software in any way. Yes, that's what Mr. Vipul is telling. That is more interesting to understand and to try, right? Because that's what we are going to do right now. And I am going to ask my team. Because what they are offering is that they may be having 100 products and you don't need all of them. Whatever you need, you try it. And then you have it for that particular duration. Then that kind of software is going to be the future for the Indian industry. And that is where even the small manufacturers are going to take an advantage, because they do not want to carry a software for a year when they need it for a day. So that is the main advantage. And second thing is that when they are going to use it, once they use it, they complete their job and then they switch off that software. So that is what it is going to make the ROI also for them. But yes, but for the other products like ERP products, where the data management is there, we need those software. So both are different things. What Mr. Vipul is telling is from the designing perspective or from the PLM perspective, it's different. And from the data management point of view, yes, we need the ERP, as Mr. Arjun has told, because without ERP, today it's looking like impossible to work. Otherwise, like we are having 8 units and all are located quite far away from each other. And we cannot be dependent on the one person or the 2% to provide that data. We need the data anywhere, and that data has to be stored safely. That is another challenge. Now, what we are getting the solution to it is the cloud solution. where all the industry has already started working. So it's very important to keep the data. And yes, we cannot compare the two things, software and the manpower skill. Maybe yes, manpower skill comes into the play when we are talking about the manufacturing. Yes, those can be a little bit of helpful. But for software and data management, manpower is nowhere that we should be dependent on.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. A quick follow-up question on this. I see that your company serves powerful global brands such as Daikin and Honda, as well as large legacy players in India like Indian Railways. Now, when it comes to maintaining a competitive edge globally, and you are competing with the best global players that we have, uh, uh, do you choose your software solutions uh, for that purpose as well, to maintain a competitive edge being in India? And the kind of discussion that we've had, I guess India being the IT capital of the world, we need to have more richer solutions for our indigenous manufacturers. But do you have that consideration in mind when choosing software solution to maintain a global competitive edge? And how does that go?
Yeah, we are doing it just because we need it. It's not that we are looking at the global manufacturer that if we have this software, then it's going to help us with that, getting the business. Rather, for us to manage our business, this is the mandatory requirement now. And that is why we are working with different software players also. But the only challenge what we face is that we have 2 or 3 software, and we are going with the another one. To integrate all those software so that we have the common platform for working is a challenge right now, but we have already started working on that. And whatever products we are buying right now, we are having the preconditions, to maybe not today, maybe after 1 year or 2 year, if we need to integrate those software with our ERP, we should be able to do it. Even PLM, what we are working on is that first condition in the, our requirement is that your software should be integratable to SAP S/4HANA. So those kind of requirements are there. And it's not that global players we are talking about. We have around 45 customers. And to maintain those data with the individuals is a big risk to us. So we are maintaining at a centralized location. Wherever it is not available, so we are now, that is a plan to integrate all the units so that we have the centralized data system, centralized our own processes. We are not following any other customer processes. Yes, we follow our own process, and wherever required as per the process need, we convert it for that particular customer.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Arjun, much like other speakers, you work in a very, very interesting space in consumer electronics, which is very hard fought and fiercely competitive, and also has with it aspirations of a lot of Indians to have an indigenous, homegrown consumer electronics brand. And now you have competitors from the world's biggest economies that you have to compete with. Now, from that perspective, my first question is the same: that what are the key considerations you look for when looking at a software solution? And the second is, how do you use software solutions for getting a global competitive edge?
So, our need for a software is very similar to the need that Mr. Devendra has. So basically, for us, the most important thing is how each department can be interlinked and everything can become centralized. So today, like I mentioned earlier also, so each department has to be interlinked. Like, my say for my store is linked with my production, and even production is not just one assembly line. There are 5 different assembly lines. So in our typical environment, there is one SMT, then there's one manual insertion, then there's a clean room for panel making, and then there's a final assembly for the complete TV manufacturing. So each of these departments have to be interlinked. So an SMT department has to first give request to the store to issue the material, followed by the MI department who gives a further request to the SMT department. So then these two departments complete the PCB. When talking about the clean room and FA line, final assembly line, these two are interlinked. So a clean room will typically give an request to the store to issue the material. and followed by the final assembly line, which will also give a further request to the clean room to issue the panels. However, the other material would still have to be taken from the store. So all these things, all these requests can only happen when the departments are linked. And all these things we are typically using in an ERP system, which has been customized as per the needs of our manufacturing environment. So that is one thing which is there. And yeah, so then once that complete product has been placed and that serial number has gone into the ERP system, only then the dispatch happens. Now, whatever things are happening here was earlier not visible to the management. So, which is why, so it was very easy for us to, know that, okay, I have to call up my person like, acha chalo, you give us the inventory, what's there, you give me this, you give me that, so that I can see what all, I can give to the customers this month and what's coming in the next 2 months or what's coming in the next 3 months forecast, so that we can do the planning accordingly and take the orders. But now, it wasn't, fulfilling our need to see what's happening, because I need to know how many units I can manufacture in a day so that I can get those many customers. So as of today, we are, catering to over 15 brands, and that, so be it, Havells, Lloyd, be it, international brands like Realme, Hisense. So all these brands we are catering to today. And a software or a MES or a typical ERP system is a must in their auditing as well. So when any brand is onboarded, they also have a complete, long inspection list of, that these are the mandatory requirements. And some customers even demand that when the production is happening, they should be able to see, which model is going on when. So if their team is not available to visit at that particular moment, they should be able to see it from their end. So we have to give those kind of links to them so they can see a dashboard where they can only see their product getting manufactured. They have their production plan that is able to, that they can see. So all these things have been possible with these two softwares provided. Yeah, but we have a daily need of a new requirement that just pops up from somewhere where, as a part of the management, I do get angry at my team also a lot of times that can't you guys just, tell me at once what you want, have it in plan so that we don't have to go to the companies again and again and, ask them for this. And that is a day-to-day fight that happens that, we need this requirement today. We want this column in a report today. We want this in a print. And for that, for those small things also, they charge, which pain, but we understand that, okay, no, it's a requirement. So then again, so for us, typical software need is all department to be interlinked so that everyone is aligned, everyone knows what's happening. And yeah, every department should know what's happening in their department, and whatever things they should be allowed, to see or should be allowed access to, only that can be access to them, not having a typical, an admin login password to everyone in the company where they can see, okay, what's happening in every department, which typically happens in a lot of companies that because there is no proper monitoring that happens. So everyone has access to everything, and that can sometimes become a threat that should be monitored, from time to time. But yeah, this is the major need, that you should be able to see the production. You should know how, the TV is getting manufactured in how many seconds, whether it's getting manufactured at that particular time or not, whether I'll be able to achieve my targets or not, whether, because at the end of the day, I have to meet my delivery time. So that is also a must. So all of those things are there, and we can typically judge that, okay, whether I am going to meet my delivery date, whether I'm going to meet my production date. And, and because of this system, the team is also aligned, because once they know, like if we didn't have a software, then okay, it's there in the plan, but no, now because they know everyone can see that this is there in the plan, they have to ensure all material is there in advance, typically, so that the production is not stopped. And so all of these things are a must for us, and they typically work with software. And today, if someone tells me we are going to remove ERP from a system, I'll say no, I'm sorry. Or if they say we can't have an MES in your manufacturing unit, I'll say no. So today, when we've onboarded a few international brands just a couple of months back, and in our industry, if I have to talk about a typical TV manufacturing space, Not a lot of companies have an MES in the company. So, and I think it's because of that one initiative that we took last year, we were able to onboard certain clients because they could understand that we are willing to invest, and we are willing to grow. And all of these things can happen only if you can invest in more softwares, invest in more technology, and the company is aligned towards, improving their productivity and efficiency. So that is something that's a must for us, and we are going to continue to do that. And yeah, we are coming up with more units, and we are already, making sure that everything can be aligned. And yeah, that integration bit is a must for us. Mr. Devendra mentioned that whichever softwares you get, they should be able to be integrated with the current softwares of the company, because that's a challenge that we've also faced in the past. But now, whenever we are speaking to anyone, that is also a part of our criteria.
Thanks,
Mr.
Arjun. Yes.
One more thing is that, like once you have these good softwares, ERP design software or the ERP software or other monitoring software, whatever you have, this definitely gives a confidence to the customers for which you are working, that yes, we are going to have an association with the people who can always give us the data whenever they need it, the information whenever they are needed, and it is auditable. What Mr. Arjun told is the auditable. That is the most important thing. Either maybe in some of the industries the audits are being done on the ERP by the customers, and some of the industry it is not done. But yes, they know that if whenever they need the data or the information, they cannot easily get it. So software are must for every industry today to work.
Thank you, gentlemen, for such encouraging thoughts. And for me personally, as a writer and editor, I'm really enthused about after hearing these thoughts from you and the future of our industry. Vipul, I have a quick question for you before I turn to the final question, after which we'll take the audience questions. Vipul, can we have your perspective, the solution provider's perspective, on what the typical manufacturers' needs are, requirements are when they come to you? How much of that is rooted in reality? How much of that is not possible, for example, given the budgets and the negotiations? So what is your experience of dealing with manufacturers in our country?
So yes, so to start with, as Mr. Devendra and Arjun were telling, data has actually become a very center point of all the industries, I would say, not even just manufacturing and design, but even in the outside industry. If we see, data has been a very major point right now. So going around this data, there are a few things that comes into my mind, which is very much uh, important for any industry to grow with. A few things which Mr. Devendra and Arjun have already connected told is the management of data, the flow of data should be very much smooth, right? So if I see the industry, there are three domains even which softwares has. So one is on the design and manufacturing side, where it's very much core on the shop floor or the designing side, which stays, which are called usually the DNM software, designs and manufacturing softwares. It can be for your designing needs, where you actually open up the software and design everything, create tool paths and send it to the machine so that you can talk to the machines with the PC and everything. Second is on the ERP side, which is more on how the process flow is going on. And the third one is on the monitoring system, which is the MES side. Right. So the integration for these three are a very major setback, or like innovation which we need right now, which is not there currently, or either it's very expensive. If it's there, it's very customized. It's uh, only the top tier coders or the top tier companies can do it, and it's very much expensive. But this is where actually the game is right now, that all the particular domains has been mastered or is like on the verge of mastering, but the thing to connect these three is where there is a gap right now. So I would say the offerings which as a software provider, either Autodesk or any companies can do, or is giving perfect or very nice softwares on each of these parts. But the possibility which remains uncharted is the connection between these three.
Thanks, Vipul. Now my final question is futuristic. Where is this ecosystem heading in terms of integrating with the newer technologies or disruptive technologies, as they are called, like artificial intelligence and Internet of Things? Are the Indian manufacturers adopting some of these technologies into their IT ecosystem? If yes, what are the challenges that they are facing, and what is the way forward? So I'll start with Mr. Gupta as to telling us what are the newer technologies that you are adopting in your IT ecosystem.
Right now, as an Indo Autotech, we are going to have the IoT. We are going to launch the Industry 4 concepts. We have already started in our 2 organizations. We are going to have our document management system where the complete documentation is paper free. And that documentation, because as we are mostly supplying to the automobile industry, either in India or abroad, and all those industries needs their data to be controlled for next 20 years, and keeping the data in file is almost impossible. We are going to have the complete document management system where the data is generated in the software itself. Like if there is some data needs to be maintained, it has to be maintained in the software, it has to be kept in the system. And even if there are the hard copies, then it has to be controlled through particular part number so that it is easily traceable. Second, in our industry, we are going to have the design integration where we need a centralized system, and we are working on that. We are going to have the PLM system. Either we have a system where we have design control as a separate software, and we have our development system as a separate, and quality management as a separate. But we are now going to have a single system where all the things can be done in a single system. So that is another. We are now, as Mr. Vipul told, that we have the software S/4HANA, but we are not utilizing it fully. So we have already integrating all our different modules which we have, but we were not using it. So almost all the modules are now active, and 1 or 2 modules are going to be implemented very soon. So we are going to have all the systems and the information, centralized and with the latest of the software available in the market. Yes, we are getting a little bit of delayed just because of the integration. Even we are working on our energy monitoring. Like all the plants, the energy will be monitored on the real-time basis, and all the consumables, like we are using a lot of gas from another company, and that is where we have already procuring some of the software where we have the live information to the people available, that how much it is getting consumed against what it should be, so that if there is any issue, and the energy can be conserved. So that way we are going to integrate our complete industry in next 2 years. And the next challenge which comes to us is to train the people, to get people utilize that this system what we are going to have. That is where we are now also planning to have the training modules for all these people to be trained, so that those trainings can be provided to them as per the need.
Wow, that's fascinating, Mr. Gupta. Thank you for sharing that. Arjun, what are the next generation technologies that you are adopting or thinking of adopting?
Well, at the moment, where we are looking at is more, towards more summarizing more things, for better analysis, where we are, going to invest more is on dashboards that we want, so that we can, assess things happening better, which can predict what's happening, which can tell us at every stage, every department, typical what's happening, so those are the things where we can improve. As what we've seen is, having a proper dashboard helps you analyze better and much faster, instead of deep diving through many things. And with the artificial intelligence in place now, which can predict, basis your needs, your behavior, your type of search, your types of requirement, I think that's a must. So today, if typically I want to predict, like for in our industry, 32 inches is the major dominating size. If I have to predict, okay, what is going to happen, what are the chances of me manufacturing how many TVs in the coming months with this manpower, all of these things, we want something that can keep telling us what's happening and what they are predicting basis the current behavior that's happening. So those kind of things that can happen. And so that, and yeah, and talking about document management system, that is something we already have in place, but it's not utilized well. That is again in the company's task in the next year, as so that we can have things in place and become paperless as well, as that's become a need of the hour for the environment. That is something where we are looking at, and a lot of other manufacturing tools that we want to place in. We currently don't have a designing tool that's there, which Vipul has introduced today, as our dependency was more on outsourcing those things, as currently those things are not manufactured in India. So all our designing takes place in we have our overseas R&D in Shenzhen in China, where our team is sitting and continuously working on software and hardware and designing with our suppliers. So whenever we have to create a new tool, we are reaching out to them, who then as they have tools in place, they are they are making it on our behalf and getting it approved by us. So we are going to be working on getting that as well, and focus on as a company, we focus more on backward integration manufacturing, but I would say now we have to focus more on the software side as well. So so these are a few things that we would be working on in the coming years.
Thanks, Arjun. Vipul, you want to take that up before we take the audience question?
Yes. So the answer lies the same. It's more on the digital industry side, which we say on the software companies. So let's say in this terms, like how machines talk to machines. Like right now we are able to communicate with machines in one or the other form. We have several softwares, we have their programming styles, and then we can just code it and send it to the machine. But like how machine will talk to the machine is what we are seeing next. Just for an example, let's say if one machine turns out that something has happened to that machine, then what will be the effect on my output, and how much hours it will be, what is the downtime basically, and on which machine I need to shift the load. That is all the places where we are looking into. Again, the central point remains the same. It's the data and more efficient use of the data which is there in your shop floor. Lying around, nobody has seen it, but just bringing it to a visual form, and even in an effective manner, that somebody sitting here in India can visualize what is happening in US. Just like Arjun told, like he has a facility in Shingen, and if he wants to see, okay, what is the modeling time they are taking, or how many iterations they have done in the design, and let's say over a year, I want to check like what were the major reasons why this got this many iterations. Maybe it was a manufacturing failure which was happening, and that's why we needed to change the design. So these things are ones which needs to be monitored and get into the system, so that we bring this industry up, and that's where the industry would be heading next.
Do you also provide support for Industry 4.0 technologies like digital twin, for example, predictive maintenance? Is that a part of your package, of your offerings?
So right now, if I only talk about Fusion 360, that's not a part of Fusion 360, but Autodesk does have a big range of softwares, and I might need to check this up with the other teams and see if there is some solution for this.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we'll move to the audience question. As you can see on the screen, anyone would like to take it up first? Any thoughts on that about total cost of ownership? Raghu asks, what are the different headers or areas that you take into account while calculating the TCO for software solution with backup requirements or human resources cost, the cost of upgrading skills, upgradation of hardware? Mr. Gupta?
It's if we talk about the finally what is the ROI we are going to get it. That is the cost of total cost which we have to look at. Because when we are going to have the software, as I have already told you, that the software does not mean that we are only buying the software in one hand. The software includes the software cost, then the integration cost, or the person who is doing the job for you to make the formats or the integration as per your need. And then after that, you are going to have the hardware, then you are going to have the annual subscription to that. And after getting all those, then what is the final outcome you are expecting out of it? Like, is it going to increase your productivity? Is it going to reduce your manpower in some way or the other? Or is it going to give the quick information so that you can avoid the losses you are going to have? So based on that, we have to calculate. It all depends upon the different kind of industry and the software and the where it's going to be used.
Thanks, sir. Arjun?
It's very well explained by Mr. Devendra. He's covered almost all points. I can just add saying that, it typically depends, when you get a software on board or when you implement it in your industry, what's the benefits that you're going to get, whether you're going to be able to make full use out of it with this kind of investment, and what's the return that you're going to get with this software over the years. So for us, a typical investment in software would be increase in productivity, increase in efficiency, and typically less, and to have a hassle-free environment instead of going through spreadsheets or any sort of things, to become more hassle-free, more productive, more efficient. And with this software, what's the return you would get? So if I have to talk, typically I think having these softwares in place have really helped us grow over the last 6 years since I have joined the business. We have seen growth almost in terms of turnover. If I would say revenue, we've grown 4 times. And I think this also had a very major role to play in. So I think a typical cost would be in terms of productivity and efficiency for us when we have placed all these tools in place.
Sorry, thanks, Arjun. I have another question here, where that is the final question that I'm going to take. This is from Raghavendra. Raghavendra asks, how helpful were software solutions and online technologies during the pandemic to the manufacturers? I'll ask Mr. Gupta to elucidate this.
So first of all, I will say that this is something which has helped us out. In this pandemic, the better we used all these softwares, and that is the only way that we were able to survive in that pandemic situation. Because without going out, we are having all the information. There were certain hitches, in starting getting those information. But once the things start moving, it becomes so easy. Now today, without these softwares and online interactions, we cannot work. It becomes a part of our life. Earlier, 2 years back, this is something which which were available there at that time also, but the need was not felt. Now it becomes a part of our life. That is the only change which happened. So it's necessary to have it.
Thank you, sir. Vipul?
Yes.
What is your experience?
So it has been really nice actually. So we have seen the use of softwares going up within this pandemic, and that itself proves that the software industry is very helpful in the industry throughout, and that actually is a really happy moment for me since I have been working in the industry. And one specific case which I would like to bring in front of you is what we experienced when, so since Fusion 360 is a cloud platform, right? So what happened was when the first hit was there in the world and India went into the complete lockdown stage, and then slowly industry started opening where there was limited capacity and limited permissions available. The software people actually totally are the users, the industry were the people who could adapt work from home, and due to that the industry ran smooth. Means you cannot bring the machines or the shop floor to your home, right? But the softwares were the ones which actually helped them out to carry out the work from their home. And even cloud softwares were even easily manageable. You didn't need anything to take from your factory and bring it at the home. You just logged in your uh, PC. The admin gave some extra rights to you, and then you have your data all on your PC right there. So it gave a smoother workflow within the pandemic and also helped to keep the productivity going on, plus adding to the flexibility that if a certain number of people are only allowed in the industry, how or who are the ones who can actually work from home and take the baton in their hands actually.
Thank you, Vipul. Arjun?
So I think the pandemic has taught us, how we have to work remotely now. So I think initially when the pandemic happened, it was more like, okay, what now? Okay, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're at home. Fourth week, okay, what's going to happen? Units are not functioning. Then once the pandemic opened, there was still a scare whether how to go to work, how, because typically a top management cannot, not every member of the top management can risk themselves if, God forbid something happens. So I think that has really taught us how we can work remotely and what are the tools and what are the kind of softwares that we should continuously invest in. I think we've all seen how the people are now so used to video conferences that now, like, in fact, we are having a virtual, panel discussion today, where earlier, and all of these things are happening. The world is accepting it and using it, which earlier was just, when was okay, was just an interaction with friends who are overseas, that okay, wow, we are FaceTiming, or we are talking on Zoom or something, or which even an app, House Party, that became pretty popular
Yes.
during the pandemic. But now it's become one of your daily to-dos, that okay, if I can't go somewhere, I'm very comfortable hosting a meeting virtually. And we are today, in fact, we are largely dependent on the world is largely dependent on China, and no one is able to go there, but still the work hasn't stopped. Everything is working fine. The materials coming properly, new products are getting developed, and all of that thanks to technology and softwares, and the acceptance of people that they've realized that how important it is to work remotely now.
Thanks, Arjun. These are great thoughts to wrap up this discussion with. As you rightly pointed out, that without software solutions, we wouldn't be interacting the way we have today. And as a manufacturing magazine, gentlemen, I must share with you that we very gingerly tread into the area of software. And this was a panel discussion where I was a little unsure of what we we're going to get and the information. But I'm so glad that I reached out to you and you connected today. The kind of in-depth discussion that happened today is going to inform our readers a long, long way. And India being the IT capital of the world, this is one big support that the service sector can give to the manufacturing sector in making us globally competitive. Thanks a lot for your valuable time, gentlemen, setting aside your time. You have a brilliant day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mishan.
Thank you.
Thank
Same
you.
to you.
Thank you, Mr. Devendra Vipul. Thank you. Bye bye.